Hey, everybody, welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Adrian. I'm joined by the intellect, Rich Stambolian.
Ooh, I like that. So smart.
You're so smart.
You're so smart.
God, it's been a very busy couple of weeks for us during the show.
Yeah, dude.
Last week we had a tremendous amount of news. Obviously, we discussed what's going on in WWE as far as running live events. We had a tremendous amount of breaking news last week, and it was so bizarre to get the phone call that I did from the person that I did about the Velveteen Dream situation. We're going to go into this, obviously. This is the big story here. Obviously, WWE in Florida planning to still run a live event. We're going to go into that as well. I know that Dave Meltzer reported it in The Observer this week. The Velveteen Dream situation was in there. So a lot of the stuff I'm gonna go based on what we had said, and I'm gonna do some comparison with some other people that are covering this event. Sean Ross Sapp, by the way, a lot of credit to him. He's been reaching out. Him and I have been kind of piecing things together, which is very important in a situation like this. We're very careful how we say it. So, where do you want to begin, Rich? You want to start with the Velveteen Dream situation? Because I called you about this, and you're like, how the hell who called you? Who told you this?
Yeah, you sounded like you were in the middle of a very crowded elevator.
Yes,
and
I was.
It was like I liked it though, because it was very much like hot news. It sounded like you stopped the presses, took your phone or ran to a payphone and called me. Like, Mr. Rich, yes. I got the hot ticket for the day. Yeah, dude, that's nuts. I can't believe you got the story corroborated by a couple of sources also.
Yeah. So, for people who don't know, which I'm actually shocked, there's a tremendous amount of people that don't know. And listen, if you're just a casual fan, you're not going to follow what's happening on Twitter. So to kind of break it down for everybody, there's been a tremendous list of professional wrestlers being accused of anything from abuse to sexual misconduct to just being a sleazeball of a human being. It's gone. This list is spread. It's gotten bigger. But there was one story that broke before all of this, right before what the NXT pay-per-view. Well, right? It was the last NXT pay-per-view, the In Your House pay-per-view. A little bit before that, a story had broken. Actually, no, it's been a couple months, actually. I don't know why I thought that they were together. A couple months ago, essentially, a young individual on Instagram came out and said that Velveteen Dream was sending him, Patrick Clark was sending him lewd stuff. A lot of people took that as false allegations, that his account was compromised, and it kind of went under the radar for a lot of people. With the Speak Out movement happening in professional wrestling last week, a couple allegations came out about Velveteen Dream again, with a tremendous amount of proof on that side. Now, I'm not going into speculation whether or not this is true or false. I'm just telling you what was told to me. I know that they had cooled off. They were investigating this. WWE is doing their due diligence with a lot of these situations. Matt Riddle's situation, for example, is a little bit different because they were very much aware that there was some sort of issue with Matt Riddle and the individual. This come from WWE and this coming from Matt Riddle's attorneys, that they were everybody. This has been going on for some time. So their reaction to that was not as harsh as you would imagine because they were in the know, at the end of the day. The Velveteen Dream situation is not good. We reported yesterday that he's done. And the way that I was told this was by somebody totally out of left field. Just someone that's very close to the situation contacted me, that I've known this person for about 20 years, more than that, 25 years. Has nothing to do with the wrestling world. They happened to call me because they saw something had happened. They wanted to just bring up the story. I was like, and he told me that it looks like the days are numbered. He told me Monday. It looks like it's going to happen. They're going to terminate him on Monday. I have not been able to confirm that with anybody else other than this one guy. But what makes me believe the story way more than I normally would, where I would try to kind of dig deeper is the fact that he told me Velveteen Dream was in a car wreck. That was the first thing he started off with. And then he went into all the other details. This is about 3 hours before it started getting reported, or 2 hours before it was reported. I spoke to a couple of our friends, and everybody heard the same story. Everybody heard it from totally separate places, and it is not looking good for Velveteen Dream. This is not, it's still a big developing story. This is just the beginning of this. I don't see this ending well. Now, there's a lot of speculation regarding the accident. I don't know. I'm not going to, again, I'm not speculating as to what happened there because I don't know. I haven't been told anything. But, Rich, break this down. What do you think is happening? I mean, this is not good.
So there's a couple of things, and I think we pride ourselves on not spewing false information. Usually when something breaks, like we have several sources, and we're pretty on the ball with this kind of thing. It's a weird situation with this guy, but the two things immediately that pop into my head, and I'm not defending him at all in any way. Two things. Doesn't WWE monitor everybody's social accounts? And
no.
Two, like
they do,
really?
But they don't have access. They don't log in and like check their messages.
I thought they did that as part of like their corporate policy to keep stuff like this from happening, or to say, hey, listen, what are you doing right now?
Yeah. This
is reflecting poorly on the company. I think in the past, people who say they've been hacked have gotten away with it for that reason. But I could have sworn, and I feel like WWE should have more of a handle on their superstar social media accounts and have like logins or whatever. The second thing is it's pretty nuts that we're hearing ahead of time that on Monday this dude's getting fired.
That is the weird thing. So I've never been told, and I mean, we've been doing this for 10 years, right? Like, I know when terminations are coming, right? If it's a mass termination, a lot of times that kind of spreads, and okay, we're getting another round on Wednesday, or we're told early in the week or later in the week. I was specifically told the announcement's coming on Monday. Somebody asked me on Twitter, why that makes no sense. Why wait till Monday? Well, the dude was in a car wreck. I'm sure they're investigating this to find out legally what, just all the legal aspects of this. This is a major accusation if true. It's a disgusting accusation. Listen, at the end of the day, I hope it's not true for everybody involved. I hope for the people that essentially were assaulted. Not necessarily assaulted. Let me rephrase that. The ones that were solicited online. I hope it's not true for that case, because it's a terrible thing to go through if you're a teenager, and that's what the accusations look like. It's also it's a disgusting accusation. And God, it's you kind of lose hope in humanity when you hear about these things. This is a guy that was in a position of power, could have been a tremendous influence positively on many people's lives. And it looks like this is spinning out of control. The situation is not good.
A lot of people's favorites.
It was a lot of people's favorites.
Really...
Yeah, and I think people need to separate this. I think people need to separate. Like, yeah. I understand people are very upset because he was your favorite, but again, I'm not telling you to react angrily. I'm not telling you to react positively. Right. I'm just saying, sit and wait. Again, I never want to be that person making an announcement like this. I don't want to break this kind of news. The only reason why I did is because I was the one that was told by somebody very close to the situation. Now, it's not one of the accusers, to get that out of the way, but this is someone that I was shocked that they were close to the situation. Very surprised. So, we want to be very careful again. We're not pointing a finger at him yet. We're just saying this is a very bad situation in terms of Velveteen Dream, Patrick Clark's career, and possible life. I mean, this is life-changing in a very negative way if this is all true. Last week I was shocked by a lot of this stuff, and the Velveteen thing kind of flew under the radar for me because the first accusation kind of got slipped away. I kind of thought like, well, WWE maybe did their homework and they saw that these were fake or whatever, because wouldn't you, Rich, if you're a top talent in this company, right? He is a top talent, top to bottom. And now there's an accusation, there's an audio recording, there's a nude image that's leaked. You're not going to pull him off of TV and say, guys, we got to investigate this right now if they believe that this was true.
Right. There's two sides to this wrestling coin, right? The one side is at this level, it's very, very corporate, right?
Very.
So the corporate stuff is definitely in place in situations, and I'll use Matt Riddle as an example. Apparently this is what's going on is that Riddle knew about this quote unquote stalker before he signed, told WWE about it, said, hey, look, I got this person causing problems in my life. Allegedly, that's what's happening. And it's corporate's job to say, listen, we'll take care of it, right?
Yeah.
We'll use our resources, and so you don't have to use your resources. And then look at what happened with Enzo a couple of years ago, in which that he didn't tell the office in time, and they bounced him, right?
Well, the Enzo thing is very similar, right? Very similar.
Very similar, in which he was proven not guilty, but he didn't have the wherewithal to say, hey guys, look, this is what's happening, please take care of it for me. Because I feel like when you do that with this kind of corporate situation, the company says, thank you for coming forward, we will handle it from here with our lawyers, we got good lawyers, etc. The other side of that coin is that much like any touring thing, stand-up comedy, music, wrestling, it's very carny. You get people who maybe not be in the best frame of mind to do this continuously. I think back in the day, it was very like a journeyman kind of thing. Not to say those guys in the 80s and 70s weren't effed up in the head. They probably were. Yeah. But it's a tough road to hoe with regard to like somebody's mental state. You're getting pressure put on you. At what point do you just self-fulfill your prophecy of failure and just give in to those demons, you know?
Yeah, I think that's been the big question here is how does somebody like him make the mistake that he did? Listen, he's not a dumb guy. He's a very bright guy, and what I've heard about him, he has a very different outlook on life. His attitude for things is very different. Not a strange guy, but a fascinating, different type of person. And I think that's why he's done so well in that character. But at the end of the day, if you have these issues, man, it's you have to know right and wrong. You have to.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Let's say if wrestling companies, like bigger wrestling companies, do psychiatric evaluations, how many people do you think would fail?
Oh, like a real psychiatric. Well, first of all, I would like to make a joke here, but I think that, like, it's such a serious issue right now happening. I would say all of them if we were doing a regular show, but I would say that there is a tremendous amount of people in any of the arts, right? This is a performance art, and I think it gravitates. People gravitate here because it's a new identity. You could wear a mask and become a whole different person. There's so much pointing to people being able to hide in this environment. Listen, it's a lonesome life. It's not a good life. It's glorified. Obviously, we watch it on TV and we think, these guys are, they go out there and they do these shows. This is a exhausting and just not a mental health in this industry is terrible. Top guys, low guys, mid-range guys, they all suffer from severe mental health issues because it just gets to you at point. You're competing with everybody. Your peers are your enemies. Your friends are your enemies.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everybody's... I know we've spun into something else, which we'll continue on this, but I don't know what WWE could do to kind of help alleviate some of these issues, but, this is not good to be a top star in the company that has the character that he has, saying and doing the things he's doing in real life. It's almost like a bizarre extension of the character in a negative way. Man,
right.
Scary.
It's a tough situation, and our job is to entertain people every week and kind of bring you news and all this other stuff. But I think a mental health issue is definitely something that needs to be addressed within wrestling, and not so much like mental health, like, oh, this, you know what I mean, like trying to fanboy diagnose people, but in the regard of like, hey, listen, you know, like maybe they should have counselors on hand, or you know, things like that, where people can go a couple of times a week or once a week and say like, hey, listen, this is the stuff that's inside of me that I really want to address before I put myself out in front of TV, in front of people, in front of fans that are eventually going to look up to me. You know what I mean? And I also think that's the other aspect that we don't talk about either. Like, we're all older. Like, we're in our mid-30s, I'm in my late 30s.
I'm approaching my late. I guess I'm in my late 30s now. I'm not in my mid. I'm in my late.
What are you, 36?
36.
Yeah, you're on your late 30s now.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. How's that feel? How's that make you feel?
Yuck.
Somebody I was at, I went to a barbecue the other day. This is a little tangent. I went to a barbecue the other day, and there were two people there, and everybody was doing like the age guessing thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for my wife, they guessed her age older, and the same couple of people were like, "You're like 28, right?" And I was like, "Oh, I want to marry both of you." So I think there needs to be a system in place to help their talent a little better within their daily lives, whether that's like mental. I know they're doing financial help.
They do, they do financial counseling like every other sports brand, right?
They do financial counseling. They're doing like rehab. I know WWE has a good rehab program, but you know, you need to do like the mental health program too. I think a lot of this stuff could have been avoided, and also if there was an issue, especially on social media, if these dudes are like trying to kick it to like underage teens, there needs to be access to those social media accounts.
By the way, let me just say this: this is not like a new generational problem. I think people forget how terrible this was in the 80s. This was an issue from town to town, and a lot of those girls, you know, we glorify. I mean, in a bizarre way, and I'm not doing this social justice bullshit with this, but you listen to those Flair comments, and those young girls are screaming, you know, and he would talk about, you know, so and so going out with those teeny boppers. You know, Flair would cut a heel promo on you saying like, "Oh, you and your teeny boppers." I'm like, there's a reason why they're talking about that, because these girls were gravitating towards these guys in that era. You know, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. I mean, I get it, but it's not good. The other thing is WWE and most sporting brands do a great job at sticking their head in the sand. They don't want to know what you're doing on social media. They don't want to know who you're messaging, because then it's a problem for them and that they need to fix. And if
it seems like it's a rampant problem, but also it's like we live in an age where everybody's so interconnected. And like you were saying, like Ric Flair would cut these promos about like basically like dating a high school cheerleading team, right? And also it's like the age of innocence has just it's going up, you know, like as society evolves, it goes up. Like kids aren't going to work at 8 years old like they did at the turn of the century, at the turn of like the 20th century, right? You know, like you're not having like 9-year-old minors providing for their family. You know, like the age of innocence keeps going up, and like the times clearly have not caught up to that. You know what I mean?
No.
So it's like it's bizarre in many, many ways. And you know, we don't have the answer. We're just a couple of dudes podcasting.
Yeah. Guys, we're gonna continue this conversation, but I want to remind everybody: a lot of new viewers have found our product, found our show, found our Twitter. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for finding us. Be sure, if you're watching live right now on YouTube, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, hit the like button on YouTube. You know, let us provide you with the content that you guys want. Also, we're everywhere. We're everywhere podcasts are available, so you could just put in Matt Man Podcast and you'll find us there. So I'm looking at next week. I was told Monday. Again, I haven't verified Monday. I'm just saying it because this guy was spot on with everything. So I'm going with early next week. We'll have our answer with what's happening with him. With that said, he still has people that are still very high up on him, and they're still defending him.
Who's on? You mean Dream or Riddle?
Dream, backstage. Okay. Dream. There are people that are defending him. High up names that really would like this to go away. they don't believe the accusations. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to name the names yet, but you can kind of figure it out in NXT who's backing him. That's the Dream story. We're going to find out more, obviously. This is all brand new stuff. Now, the other crazy story is the COVID issue WWE is facing. 40-something positive tests. I heard it was up around the hundreds of positive tests. A couple notes from this. Obviously, Renee Young, one of the names that was announced that she got, she has COVID. She's in isolation. Jon Moxley tested negative. He's in isolation. Kayla tested positive. According to her, she tested positive twice. Now, there's a little bit of an issue with that. I don't know. There's no recorded data proving that you get COVID twice. And I don't think Kayla is the one that's going to be that, patient zero. So I think what happened was it's very possible. It's very possible that she got a false positive or she tested positive for the antibody. And she maybe got a little confused there.
Renee got tested.
Renee got tested and she tested positive.
Yeah.
There's more names that should be out. I'm being told actually right now. Today more tests will be coming in on tests because they did NXT because I think NXT today. Yeah, so they're getting more results today. We'll find out more with that. So the big story here is Dave Meltzer confirmed, along with a bunch of other people. Sean Ross Sapp confirmed this first after we reported it about a month ago. So we've been going back and forth. That WWE, as of yesterday, was still intending on running shows in Lakeland, Florida at the RP Arena on July 24th. Now, we were told Lakeland, Florida. We reported Lakeland, Florida. I think we reported this building. We were also thinking about outdoor buildings, what they could do. And we suggested where the Tigers play for spring training. But it was always going to be Lakeland, Florida. That's where they were going. It's an 8,000-person building, so they'll probably scale it down to maybe a couple thousand. I'm shocked that the report is coming out that they're still spearheading with this. It was supposed to be announced last Wednesday. That was the date that Vince was going to announce that, live audience is coming back. The reason why they're so aggressive to bring this back is they want to be the first. That at the end of the day, that's all this is coming down to. WWE wants to be the first to say they were the first live event with an audience. That's all this comes down to. Forget about everything else. It's silly when you think about it that way, but this is what this is.
Well, I think they pride themselves on that, because they want to make those headlines and they want that clickable content, much like 9/11.
Yeah, the 9/11 stuff. They were the first show back, the following week. It's Vince, so that's what he's thinking. So I was told last week that this is getting delayed. Came from one of the channels, the networks that they're on. Let's just put it that way. That they were told that the announcement's not happening and they're delaying it by a month. So the end of August will be when they come back to a live show. So if we're looking at the end of August, I'm just going to speculate here. It's going to probably be the week after SummerSlam. So we're looking at maybe the 24th, August 24th, or August 28th for a return date. So if it's August 28th for a return date, that's SmackDown. They were very big on having SmackDown be the first one because they're on Fox, and in their minds, they're going to draw way more of an audience on Fox than do it on USA. I'm now being told that they're still sticking to July. I was told they're sticking to August, so we'll find out. But if, Dave's reporting July. This is going to be a mistake.
Oh, huge mistake.
This is a mistake.
Huge. I think I disagree with everything that's going on right now in general. Like you were saying at the beginning of the show before we started, nobody gives a shit at this point. And that's bad news. Look what happened to Florida. And they're in Florida. WWE is patient zero at this point.
Yeah. So dude, it's a mess. Wrestling is a mess. The world is a mess. I get it. Obviously we're going to stick to pro wrestling on the show, but they are adamant into doing this live show, and they're going to do everything they can to do a live show. SummerSlam, I've not heard anything about SummerSlam being live. I've not heard a thing about it. I was told that there is a network special on August 30th, which is the following week. I haven't heard anything more to this. That was weeks ago. So obviously plans can change, and I hate saying that because that's a cop-out. But plans can change.
It's not a cop-out.
Plans can change.
Card subject to change.
Everything is subject to change. Life is subject to change. We don't know what tomorrow's bringing. So,
yeah.
Let's see what's happening.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
With regards to everything that's going on in wrestling, do you find it harder to watch and kind of decompress while you watch it? Or are you listen, the bad people are going to get ejected. I can still enjoy this.
I could still enjoy it. I feel like it hasn't been as enjoyable, obviously, because of everything going on. Obviously, I'm enjoying AEW more because of the atmosphere. I like the NXT product, but the WWE product, just watching it as a whole is difficult. And it shouldn't be that way. And it's not difficult because of the allegations. It's difficult because of the
it's not that great.
It's not that great. It's not that great. SmackDown last night, I get, it was a nothing show, but Raw was not great. NXT was okay. AEW was good. You kind of get bummed out when you're watching it. It just feels wrong. It just doesn't feel like wrestling. And I get it, man. There's nothing you could do. This is just what it is right now. A lot of the storylines are on hold because they're just hoping that they could have an audience again. They're hoping to get past this. It's not good for anybody. But I think that we're approaching a time that they're going to have to make some sort of statement. They're going to have to address all of these problems, top to bottom. I don't know what that answer is. Listen, here's the other thing, right? Backstage, Bruce is 57 years old. Vince is 74. You had Flair there, right? You have all these people around. Just the possibility of getting sick in a tremendous hotbed right now. By the way, somebody asked me where the other location. They were looking at Texas. I don't have an exact location for Texas, so I got to follow up. But I was specifically told Lakeland, Florida, for SmackDown, and I was told Texas for Raw for July 24th and 27th. Maybe Fort Worth. Somebody's saying I can't remember. I got to just double check because there's so much information coming out and going. Do we want to do anything you want to touch on before we do questions?
I feel like there was something on the tip of my tongue.
Go, please.
But Chikara's done.
Chikara's done.
Yeah. That sucks. That sucks for a lot of people, man. I know Shin is probably like the biggest. What happened?
Way more promotions are going. So, were you a Chikara fan? I never really got into it. I know so much talent went through there, but it wasn't my deal.
I know that as soon as I saw that, I immediately was like, Shin's going to be upset.
Yeah.
Because Shin is like the biggest Chikara fan, and I followed his story on social media for quite some time. So, when it comes to the fans, it's always upsetting when something you love gets, I guess, like ruined.
Listen, look at the list.
Look at the list. It stinks. So
you have Chikara. They're done. I'm hearing CZW might be finished.
Oh my god!
I'm also hearing. Obviously, NWA can't do tapings because they have a whole restructuring issue that's happening. We reported the Ring of Honor news. Ring of Honor also suspended any future tapings. I don't know if you saw that. Based on last week's big news that we broke, that Ring of Honor is possibly looking to exit. Sinclair's looking to offload Ring of Honor. The Marty Scurll accusation. The issue with paying people, which I don't know how public it is right now, and the story that they're looking to exit. Sinclair's looking to offload Ring of Honor. WWE being interested in the library. This is
Evolve might be done.
Evolve, I'm hearing, is finished. Their toes. I mean, just think about the wrestling climate again. Where we're going, and just to kind of touch on this, and then obviously we're going to talk about Tessa Blanchard and everything happening there in Impact, because Impact is getting just destroyed. We are now back down to a handful of promotions, where 2 years ago, There was content coming from every single place. Content was coming from everywhere. You had Evolve, you had Chikara, you had PWG, you had so much independent content coming where it was just, oh my God, we're in a territorial boom. We would say this, the territories are back. We're back in the boom. We're back in the boom. Man, you know what? We're not. We're back down to WCW, ECW, and WWF.
Yeah, it's so weird, right?
You know, if Ring of Honor goes under, and you're left with what? Impact Wrestling on an obscure channel. They have a possibility of regrowth. You have AEW and you have WWE, and obviously New Japan, right? But we're not gonna. I'm counting Northeast. Florida just announced they passed 10,000 new cases in one day. That is astronomical.
They're the epicenter.
Yep, they are the epicenter.
Who knew that a worldwide pandemic and Pervo pandemic was going to kill wrestling?
Oh man. So I'm going to find out more about Ring of Honor in the coming days. What the story with this is. I'm pretty certain that certain companies are going to be purchasing libraries from other companies. MLW, by the way, hanging on. Let's just bring that up. MLW's hanging on. MLW signed a deal with DAZN. They're okay for now. They have a chance of surviving. Listen, this is not good. None of this is good. I do know, and I was just told by someone very credible, that a lot of the NWA guys and a lot of the ROH guys are requesting their release. Ring of Honor is also no longer, they are not renegotiating any contracts and not signing anybody to a contract. Everything is on hold. So if your contract's expired, your contract's expired. Nobody's gotten re-signed. So
pretty nuts, man.
The word is traveling that something is happening.
Yeah. Do you think this means AEW is going to scoop a lot of these guys up and extend their TV product?
Listen, but who's available, right? Who's logically available in this climate where you don't know what the hell's going to happen. You don't know when you're coming back to a live audience. Do you want to lock guys up? WWE made that mistake a long time ago. For 2 years they made that mistake.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Big Tessa Blanchard news. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So
she's done.
She's done, right?
She's done. What do you think?
What was the whole thing like? According to the rumors and dirt sheets, she was supposed to send in promos from wherever she was and never did.
She's in
and
Mexico.
Impact was like, you know what? You're done, son. And she's still the champ, right? She's still the world champ.
She's the champ. She's in possession of the title belt. She's stuck in Mexico. She did not send in any tapes. There was very she wanted to exit. I'm just going to put it that way. She wanted to exit. She's been plagued with misconduct issues, personality issues. I was told that she was a whole new person in Impact. She learned her lesson from her past behavior. She had made a change.
Yeah.
I just feel like maybe she didn't get a lot of support. This is what was said to me. She wasn't getting support from Ring of Honor. I'm sorry, from Impact. And she just said, F it, I'm not going to do this. There was a dispute, and she didn't send her tapes. And she's in possession of that title belt. So I don't know if they have a backup or what. But this is
like a Ric Flair situation.
Listen, she's going to go work in AAA now. I know that for a fact. I mean, where else is she going to go? Ring of Honor, I mean, who's going to touch you? WWE with the current climate? AEW with the current climate?
Oh, my God, yeah. You think they're going to make her the AAA champion?
I have no idea.
It's really, but also it's like, you know what? I think Impact now is demonstrating like a zero tolerance policy because they were like two big names got fired. Joey Ryan and Mike Elgin got bounced from the company, and now they were like, you know what?
Suspended. Elgin's suspended.
Oh, he's suspended. Okay,
I believe it's a suspension.
And with Tessa,
yeah,
okay. And with Tessa, it's like, you know what? Let's just cut her loose.
The Joey Ryan stuff is, oh my God, it's like
bonkers,
dude. There's like 16, 17 actual allegations, but in talking to someone, I was told that it's like in the 20s. It's like way more people that do not want to speak up, and they're not going to speak up. Listen, WWE is actually very worried about who's going to say what about stars and their behavior in the past. Oh, yeah. Elgin's released. I'm so sorry. You are right. Elgin is released. Elgin was released. He's done with Impact. They parted ways. Okay, so I'm wrong on that. Sorry. I didn't follow that story as well. Oh, man. This is bad. Anything else before Q&A, guys? We're going to go into our Q&A. So remember, this is your chance to ask your questions in the chat. Rich reads them. I answer them because I've never learned how to read, right? Isn't that a fact?
You can't read. I think you read you can't read English, at least.
No. I could read Cleon. I could read, Elvish. I can't read English. That's the only thing.
Can you read the language from those blue people in Avatar?
Yes, I speak it fluently too. Eastern and Western dialect. I can speak both.
Navi.
So yeah. So we're gonna take your questions also. If you want to call in and ask your question, here's the phone number. Here's your trans. This is the Q&A segment. 888-828-1437. That's 888-828-1GFQ. You could call us in like a real radio show. This is how it works. So submit your questions in the chat. Rich, any questions already?
If Tessa, from Mr. Smalls, if Tessa goes to WWE or AEW, do you think she will be the top female performer in the company?
100%.
For AEW, for sure, right? Because their top female is Britt Baker at this point.
Britt Baker's the top performer. She's out. I think for as an athlete, as a performer, Tessa Blanchard is a star. Well, I don't know anybody that would want to go near her.
Okay. I mean, like, for now.
I think she's gonna. You know what? I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna say she's going to Mexico. She's staying in Mexico. She's gonna work there.
She's staying in Mexico. She's already in Mexico.
Yeah. She's already there. She's gonna stay there and get employment there.
Have WWE's ratings been? Have WWE's ratings been better lately?
They have been better. But not great. I don't think it has anything to do with Bruce Pritchard taking over the show. I think it just has to do with the ebbs and flows of ratings. You know, less people are watching the news, right? So obviously you're going to get a couple people from there. You're not in, the protests aren't, the riots, let's say, are not happening to a mass scale. The coverage is kind of slowed down on that. And people are getting bored of reading it. That's just how people are. So they're going back to wrestling.
Okay. John Smith has a question. How do you feel about Dave Meltzer's reference to those who have allegations against them regarding speaking out as quote-unquote guilty victims and guiltiest victims? I don't know if that question's properly phrased.
I don't know
John
what
Smith,
that means.
Come back to us. Phrase that question better and write it again in the chat room.
Yeah.
Is anything going to happen with Matt Riddle?
They're investigating the situation. Lawyers are involved on every side. And I think, I don't want to say what I think is going to happen because it's terrible, but I think what's going to happen is forget about if it's true or not, right? Let's get rid of that aspect of it because I don't want to jump into the speculation of it. But from what I know that happens, once the WWE attorneys start, getting their teeth in, and once his personal attorney's going to get his teeth in on this, there's going to be, it's just going to go away. That's what I honestly think is going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that that's the right thing to happen, but that's what's I envision that's going to happen.
I came to like a weird realization the other day where I had no idea people loved Matt Riddle that much.
They love
because
him.
as soon as the stuff came out that he's possibly innocent, it was just thousands of people who are on our feed basically doing like an "I told you so," and I was like, "Yo, I guess this Matt Riddle love is like for real." I just thought it was Derek.
Yeah, you thought it was only he has a whole crew.
Do you? Will this is from Vape?
Okay.
Will the WWE live shows be in hospital parking lots to save on travel?
Yeah, they might. They might as well. They might as well.
Do you think NXT UK is finished?
I was told last week that it looks like it was over.
Oof.
Let me see how I could craft this. The allegation that WWE's aware of is worse than what we know publicly.
Okay.
For that roster. I'm not saying that like top guys are getting, but I'm saying that it's way deeper than we've seen online. And sometimes their approach, and this was mentioned, was it's not making them money. NXT UK makes them no money. They lose money. It's a developmental territory created out of spite, so another promotion doesn't get any kind of TV time. It was done for all the wrong reasons, not the right reasons. They didn't want to create a new brand in the UK and develop the talent from there so they have more European talent. No, that wasn't the case for this. It was just done out of spite to block a TV deal from happening. And
okay,
it's hemorrhaging money. Their top talent's gone. The NXT needs some love. So they're going to take the safe guys, they're moving them over, and I think they're going to end it within the year. I cannot see NXT UK continuing.
Surviving after this. There's a lot of people on that roster definitely got called out. Michael Law is asking for your thoughts on Simone The Rock's daughter on the no mask policy. Apparently she's denying it and blocking people who say otherwise.
Yeah, listen, you're going to hear this. I've seen a report that Kevin Dunn came on the PA and multiple times mentioned to take, no masks. I didn't hear that. What I was told was it wasn't a policy of saying like, take your freaking masks off. It was like, oh, you don't need to wear a mask. You know that, right? You don't have to wear a mask on TV. It was like one of those. I don't know. Now, I don't know what the truth is. Listen, everybody has a reason to speak up. So I don't know. It's one of those, it could have been an innocent saying, or it could have been a direct instruction not to wear a mask.
What do you think will bring the Undertaker back for one last match? That is from Brian Ashkenazi.
Brian Ashkenazi?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say another big match. He's coming back. I don't believe that he's retired. I think another one of these. Go ahead, Rich.
What a send-off. Did you watch the documentary?
I did. Really well done.
My wife got very caught up in the last episode, and she was like, it's so impressive that this guy, they love him so much that they gave him a 5-part documentary for him to eventually say, I'm done. My WrestleMania match with AJ Styles was amazing. Who could ask for a better send-off? And then they played him out with George Strait's Troubadour, which I think is hysterical.
You know what? I think he might wrestle AJ again in an actual match. I'd
be cool with that.
Those two had tremendous chemistry together. They worked really well together. I know that it was Michelle McCool who suggested it should be AJ Styles for his final match. I see it happening again, man. I'm never say never. With the high of the last match, I can see them doing it one more time.
All right, that's interesting. I think the dude's had a great career. It still gives me chills to watch those old Undertaker vignettes.
Yeah, they're great.
It was building coffins. Do you think, this is from Eric, do you think FTR versus the Bucks will headline a pay-per-view? Absolutely.
I was told September. I don't know about headline, but maybe co-headline, but I know that match was set for September. By the way, AEW still has a deposit on that building in Chicago. So I think they're looking at possibly having a live crowd then. Outside of Florida. Yeah.
We got a question from Hothead 567. How does wrestling as a whole recover after COVID, or can it ever survive long after COVID is finished, which is still a long time from now?
So that's a great question. I think all sports are going to suffer for the next 5 years. This is not going to go away. There were some estimates saying that it's going to take at least a decade for this to for all sports to kind of go back to how it used to be. I can't. I don't think you're going to see 80,000 people in a building. You know, football season is going to be very telling what happens with football season. I listen, if football season goes back and for some miracle, this virus dissipates and football's back and they're running 60,000 people, 50,000 people, 70,000 people. Okay, I'm going to say, you know what? It's going to go back to normal way quicker. But just for people's habits, forget about the virus and the rules. We're creatures of habit. I truly, and this is something I've always done with working out. It takes 3 days to commit to 3 weeks, 3 weeks to commit to 3 months, 3 months to commit to a year. So we're 3-4 months in on people not going out. It's going to be an adjustment, and I think for a lot of people, they're never going to fully adjust.
Oh yeah,
there's a long-term societal shift that's going to happen here. I hope that we go back to normal as soon as possible, but I don't see live events being, this jam-packed. Like, I was watching the Royal Rumble from this year in January. It's crazy to think that that's one of the final large venue events WWE's had. Dude, that building was packed. Everybody was next to each other. Everybody was on top of each other. And I looked at my wife and I'm like, they're not. Who's going to go back to this? And again, I'm not saying that they should or they shouldn't. I'm just saying, like, who's going to, in their right mind, do that impulse buy and be like, you know what? We're going to WrestleMania next year. 100,000 people.
Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I think a lot of people are at that point where they just want to be around other people and get their mouths coughed into.
I think I think we're at that point again.
Absolutely. I think so. Like, I was just walking around and seeing like all the outdoor stuff that's going on with like just like bars putting outdoor seating and nobody giving a shit and just having, your waiter stir your margarita with their fingers. It's weird. People are weird. I feel like we're at the point where like people just want to lick the sidewalk at this point, Yeah. Do you think Vince will isolate himself? This is from Steve. Do you think Vince will isolate himself when he goes back to New York? That was a great answer, by the way.
My answer
to that question.
Thank you.
Do you think Vince will isolate himself when he goes back to New York?
No.
No.
Vince is above the law. He's above everything.
Oh, forget it.
Vince doesn't. Nobody. You know what? Nobody knows what the hell Vince would do. He is cut like no other. He's his own.
Oh,
he's not cut from the same cloth. He's his own blanket that's smothering everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
From Dawn, do you think we might see WWE go with rehab and sensitivity training for some of the people with lesser allegations? Obviously, no one with any kind of assault allegations. I think they should. I think they should definitely do sensitivity training.
Here's where it gets messy, right? Should a company, and again, forget about morality clauses, and I get that. They all have morality clauses, by the way. But if they started sending people to sensitivity training and classes for infidelity, it's over. It's not going to happen. So should a company be involved in your marital life? Should they, like, I'm just giving an example, right? These are questions that I don't think WWE wants to get involved in. These guys, I mean, you're hearing about, I'm not going to say all of them, but many of them are on the road having a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
This thing about, the locker room has changed and they all just play their Game Boys. Is that what they do? They play their Game Boys, right? What year are we in?
Can you dab? Can you dab for me?
No, I would
every time
never
you
dab.
say something. Every time you say something that it's like the movie Airheads, where Steve Buscemi tries to be like the teenager. Whenever you try to say something young, I just want to see you dab.
Okay, I'll start maybe doing that. These guys are going out having drinks and hooking up with people at the bar. That's just how it is. Andrew, dab, please, says Jason. No, never happening. $50 donation.
Can I do?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God, can I do my impression of you dabbing?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a terrible one.
This is like a shoulder shake.
Bob Hazelwood said it's 1999.
Right.
Listen, I said Game Boy. It's a joke, but you know what I mean. It's not this innocent locker room of these goody two shoes hanging out. I'm sure a lot of the problems are gone, but many of them have not. I forgot what my point was.
Well, I mean, it's definitely putting your finger in a dike in like that story, like the Dutch boy, where it's like you try to plug a hole, but then more leaks start coming.
Yeah.
You know. Let's see. What are your thoughts on the photos leaking of WWE stars partying in Nevada during the pandemic?
Yeah,
it was a bad look.
I was told, and I'll read it. Also, WWE stars were spotted partying in Nevada in the crowds in Nevada, where the numbers are similar to Florida. Yeah, listen, these guys are gonna freaking go out there. I mean, listen, even those Florida tapings, dude, they're all in the bar afterwards. I saw photos from one of the guys sent to me, and I said, "How is it down there?" And he sent me a photo, and they're all at a bar, and they're all drinking. Everybody's on top of each other. This is not, there's no self-isolation after a show. These guys aren't just checking into a hotel and going to tapings. They're all going out and doing stuff.
Cough in my mouth, bro.
Yeah. Holy moly. Andrew must dab. $20.
$20, man. That's a good one.
$20. All right, I'll do it. Bachelor 3000 right there. Andrew must dab fund. All right. You want me to say something ridiculous?
No, I mean, like, are you going to
What do you think? AJ Styles is setting up his Game Gear? There you go.
So good.
I hope you're happy.
I mean, I'm always happy to watch.
I hope you're happy. I did it. I did it for you guys. Get ready for the GIF to GIF this. All right, I'll do a better one. You guys could GIF it. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? The New Day is playing with their Neo Geos?
Oh my god. It would be great. Like, I'm surprised you didn't make a TurboGrafx 16 reference.
I was thinking TurboGrafx 16. I really want to talk about Bonk's Adventure and Splatter.
Oh, so good. So good.
So, what else do we have? Give me some more questions. Guys, submit your questions again. What the hell was that since Bachelor 3000?
Who do you think is going to pull out of the tapings going forward?
Who? Say that again?
Who do you
I got distracted by Jason writing, "Oh my god, the whole show should be Andrew Depp."
It is true. World's worst dab or world's best dab? You decide.
Best dab.
Who do you think is going to pull out of tapings going forward?
Well, I'll tell you who has. AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan were not in Orlando this week. They stayed home. So that says something.
Yeah. They're allowed to. I think you're when your top talent says like, "Hey, I'm not coming in." It's a good move. And also, listen, like the younger, hungrier guys are more willing to take that risk, right? To be like, you know what, put me on TV. Like, put me on TV. Like, I don't care if I get sick. Like, I'll ride this out until I die. You know.
Natty pulled. Daniel Bryan and AJ pulled from this. The past tapings. They're getting a little concerned, especially Daniel Bryan, considering with the small children. Obviously, AJ Styles too has kids, but Daniel has a newborn. So he's like, you know what? F it. What am I risking? You got to also remember, these guys, let's remember this, right? In this bizarre industry, you justify the things you do, right? The crazy things that you do with the fact that it's a big show. There's a hot crowd. I got to go and I got to take that extra dive. I got to jump extra high. I got to take an extra bump. Now these guys are taking these things for nobody. And I think at one point, if you're a Daniel Bryan or an AJ Styles, you're going to say, what the F am I doing? Well, I'm not going to put my family at risk or me at risk. Listen, the odds of them passing away, I'm not even going into this, but just to get infected, it's such a pain in the ass. As an inconvenience. You're sick, you don't feel good. Why risk it? Why? By the way, my theory is on this whole thing, we're all gonna get this. There's no vaccine. It's not coming, at least for now. We're all gonna get it eventually. It's just a matter of how do you spread this in a way where people aren't dying and it's not overrunning the hospital. That's the solution here at this point. It's not even a solution of self-isolating. The second you step out, you're going to get it. So these guys are trying to be a little bit more cautious as to what's going on, especially when the hospitals are getting overrun and you have 10,000 cases in Florida. You know, it's terrible.
Do the wrestlers have quote unquote company provided health insurance, or do they pay out of pocket?
Out of
WWE makes their wrestlers pay out of pocket. There used to be a loophole where back in the day you could get a Lloyd's of London health insurance policy if you acted in a few movies, in which I believe that was one of Piper's deals, right? Because Piper did a bunch of movies back in the day.
Well, Piper was SAG.
Okay. Terry Funk had Lloyd's of London, and he was in a bunch of like cameo appearances. I believe Terry Funk turned Mick Foley onto that, and Mick Foley had a Lloyd's of London insurance policy. So as long as they had that back in the day, they were covered. It's very fascinating stuff.
So the Lloyd's of London policy, it's interesting. It's really interesting. I think a lot of people don't remember this. Like, you know how you had like the steroid era, and you had this. There was a Lloyd's of London era where all these guys in the 80s, was it Ted DiBiase that did it first? Somebody, I forgot who did it first. But essentially what it does, it's less health insurance, but it's more loss of salary insurance. So these guys, obviously, they're going out there, they're taking bumps, and somebody realized that, listen, I only got a couple of years of doing this. What am I going to do when I retire? I've been doing wrestling since I was 20 years old. I have no other experience in life. I essentially work for a freaking traveling circus. So somebody figured out, like, I'm going to get this policy. A lot of entertainers get Lloyd's of London policies. Like, do you remember the whole Jennifer Lopez Lloyd's of London policy that was a big deal on her ass in the 90s?
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Like, I could get a Lloyd's of London policy on my hands because I work in computers, right? So if I can't type, I can't work. They got to compensate me for X amount of years and do a payout. So what happened, like, was it Animal? Yeah, it was Animal. Animal had a Lloyd's of London policy on his back. Rick Rude had a Lloyd's of London policy. Kurt Hennig, Ted DiBiase, Bret Hart.
Yeah.
It just went on and on where these guys got smart. They got Lloyd's of London policies. They pay out over X amount of years. And, you know, you get whatever. You know, whatever it is that your payment is for. It could be for $500,000. It could be for $2 million. It could be for $3 million. These guys were very smart. Now, when it comes to health insurance, like AJ Styles has it through his wife. His wife's a teacher. So you either get it through your spouse or you got to get your own coverage. And do you know what their rates are? I was told that some of these rates go anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 a month.
Wow.
For simple coverage. Now, WWE does pay for your surgery. So when you get hurt in the ring, they cover that cost. But you're not insured by a corporate umbrella policy, you know? If that helps.
Let's see what do we got here. Is the swamp match the only horror element of Extreme Rules?
The whole company's horror. That should be the tagline for the entire company right now.
we're
horror show. Who's coming up with these names? You know what? This is like, is this a Bruce thing? I could just see them sitting there and naming the pay-per-view like, what about the horror show?
I like it.
That's it. It's extreme. It's horror.
Swamp match. I did like. I really. You know what? My favorite part of SmackDown is Bray Wyatt because he brought back the Cape Fear Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I like that Cape Fear. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
So he's gonna face Bray. He's gonna face Braun, right?
Braun. Yeah.
I think it's time to take that title off of Braun. By the way, we didn't mention this. Obviously, Rich is getting the questions ready. You guys could submit them. I'm just going to go over these ratings because this was actually interesting. Somebody asked me what the ratings were for AEW and NXT. Dynamite drew an average viewership of 633,000, down 18% from 772,000 last week. Dynamite came in number 17 in the top 150 cable telecasts amongst 18 to 49 in that demo. This was the lowest total viewership in AEW Dynamite history. WWE NXT finished with 786,000 viewers, up 5% from 746 last week. NXT came in number 26 in the demo, 18 to 49. So something happened in the second hour of AEW where it fell. I don't know what it was. I haven't been able to discover that. What happened?
It was a very solid show too.
It was
a
kind of
interesting
show. Yeah.
What else we got here? Do you think that WWE will buy both Evolve and Chikara?
The Evolve library is very important to WWE. They would love that library because you have actually not only do you have your talent, you have other people's talent, right? You have so much talent to involve. I would love to see one match on that network. I don't care what they do. I just want to see Dick Togo and Chris Hero. That was one of my favorite matches I've ever seen live, and it's such a bizarre match to say I saw a Dick Togo match in 2016, 2017, but I did. I thought it was a great match. I'd like to see some of these, because there's so much obscure matches that were phenomenal in Evolve. How about, you know what I want to see? All the freaking Darby Allin stuff.
Oh, yeah, totally.
All the Darby Allin stuff getting murdered in Evolve every single week. So there's a lot of stuff that Evolve has. I think that's a very valuable library for them. That, I think Ring of Honor's important. I think Impact is important. I don't know how important Chikara is. You know, it may end up just being to purchase it to prevent somebody else from getting it. But I don't think the odds of a WWE Network subscriber being interested in Chikara, I'm going to say it's very low.
All right. Do you think, this is from Major Tom 331, do you think New Japan would want to buy Ring of Honor?
New Japan buys Ring of Honor for Northeast expansion. They have no TV. That's the biggest problem. Sinclair dropping Ring of Honor means also they're dropping them. So where are you putting Ring? National TV is the way to go. The thing about Sinclair and Ring of Honor is Sinclair does great numbers in markets, in these small markets that they're on. If you ever notice how Ring of Honor's scattered, Ring of Honor is still not on in New York City. They're on, I think, the Comet channel, which is, you know, they're syndicated on some nonsense Sinclair property.
Right.
But
right.
The plan was when Sinclair bought the Tennis channel, it was going to become like a sports hub. And that was going to be their platform. That's why they updated all the equipment and the video and the audio. They were getting ready for this. And for whatever reason, they scrapped it. And they stayed in bizarre syndication. So that does no good for New Japan. That library does not really do anything for them. The only one that can benefit is WWE.
Yeah, they'll benefit big time because they can package a lot of stuff with these guys. I was watching an old WrestleMania, and I was like, "Oh man, I really miss when WWE did the packages before matches, before big matches. Like they don't do stuff like that anymore. And they used to have really good like recaps and like little historical things. And also like, remember when they did the that Creed song thing for everybody?
Yeah. What was that?
Where it was like My Sacrifice, and it was just clips of everybody getting murdered, like murdering themselves.
Yeah. I'm trying to see where the Stadium channel. So Stadium channel is the well, look, it's not on Stadium channel. Is not available anywhere. WLNY 55.3 DTS. It's not even on the regular. There's no cable provider that's carrying the Stadium channel here. What happened to the Tennis channel? Did they just scrap all of it?
Do you want to try and take a phone call or no?
Yeah. Do we have any phone calls?
I don't know. You tell me.
Why am I asking you? Jesus Christ. Why am I'm like, what? I got very confused for a second. I thought you had somebody lined up. 888-828-1437. So the Stadium channel, I don't know what cable providers it's on, but it's on Pluto TV,
Sling,
Samsung TV, Sling, Fubo TV, Roku channel, Twitch. I mean, that's not really TV.
Broku Doku, baby.
Yeah, that's not really TV. Stadium channels on Pluto TV, said our intern. A very handsome young man of an intern that spent like $200 on South Park figurines this week.
How's Deacon doing?
He's out of his mind.
I saw that he was playing Resident Evil 2, which I am also, coincidentally, I am also playing Resident Evil 2.
Yeah. I have some more names that did not go to the taping, if you want to see this.
Sure.
These are some names that did not appear yesterday on TV, so I don't know if they were there or not, but here are the names. Otis, Sonya, Mandy, Gable, Sheamus, AJ, Brian, Mojo, Naomi, Carmella, Tamina. They were not at tapings.
Moj.
Yeah.
What a weird roster that they're working with now.
Can I thank all of you guys, MG Geek and this other person that's messaging me that I don't know if they want to be named, just supplying me with all this information while I'm doing the show. Tremendous help. Tremendous.
Is MG Geek sending you one bit of information and then one peenie pic?
Nudes, dude. That's all he sends me.
Straight nudes.
Not even him. It's just like, you know what it is? It's not even him that he sends me. He just sends me like old, like bodybuilding nudist art from like the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
He just sends me those. Just black and white nudes.
A lot of hangy dongs.
Yeah, AJ in our chat room, Anthony CJP is sending me a lot of good information. So very much appreciated. Kudos to him in the chat. Any other questions?
Any news on Shayna Baszler or Bianca Belair?
Bianca was pulled because of creative issues. She was on a roll, and then I think what happened is a transition period now for her. She's going to be back on TV. She kind of fell into a weird role, and they want to be careful how they present her because they have very high hopes on her. They're very hopeful that she's going to be a big star in the company, so they don't want to screw this up. So rightfully so, they're just being careful.
When Chocolate Thunder is asking, when will live shows truly be back?
If you asked me 2 weeks ago, I was going to tell you that WWE is doing it on July 24th and 27th. If you asked me on Wednesday, I would have told you it's delayed by a month. If you asked me yesterday, I would say it's back on for July 24th to 27th. I'm going to go with my gut feeling that delaying it by a month. I'm going with that. But I very possibly could be wrong. I've been told both. I've been told delay from one of the channels that WWE programming is on, and then I was told that there is no delay, and they're going forward with this. And if you go based on Meltzer's reporting, you could find out that, who I spoke to hear that. What else do we have? I know we got a ton of questions, so we're going to do rapid fire now, so we can wrap this up.
We got rapid fire questions.
Yeah, let's do it. Bang, bang, bang.
It's a lot of it is Deacon saying that he didn't spend $200 on South Park figurines. It was only $60. Which
I'm glad that he had to come here and defend himself.
Do you go through his mail like a prison? Do you open all the boxes that he gets?
I don't know why he sends me his mail. He told me that his landlord opens up his packages, so he ships all of like his like weird stuff here, and he just sends it with my name and not his. So I open stuff and it's like, I didn't order this. So weird. He acts like he lives here.
But he doesn't.
Yeah. He does not live here, and he is not my brother. I don't know where that rumor started.
I don't think anybody started that rumor. So people think he's your brother, but he's not.
Yeah, people think. Let's see what else we got here. Anything else? Any news on Baszler and Belair? Baszler's off, obviously, and Belair to regroup them. ROH is on Stadium. Is Skrull not the head booker? So Skrull is, he's the head booker right now. I don't know what they're going to do with this, but Sinclair is not very happy. All right. Any other questions?
Well, he also issued an apology in like a weird way.
It was a weird thing because here's the thing. In the UK, 16 is legal to have relations with. And I mean, does it more? Well, like where do you stand morally? Even though it's legal, would you as a 30-something-year-old or a 30-year-old or a 20-something-year-old be interested in a 16-year-old? I can tell you right now, I have no interest in a 16-year-old. I don't even want to be around them. They're the worst.
Anybody under the age of 30.
Sorry, guys, listen, I was 16 once. I was terrible. I was just the worst. I don't know why you listen. Maybe it's part of the. I don't know what. From what I was told by an NXT UK performer, I was told this last week. We discussed it on the show last week. This is a rampant problem within UK culture where the bars are very young. A lot of younger women gravitate towards these guys because they buy them drinks, and these guys gravitate towards these younger women because they're creepy, and it's just a mess of a situation. When I was in England, the last time. I was shocked how young these bars were.
Yeah.
Shocked. I couldn't believe. I mean, I was seeing, Rich, if I told you that some of these were 13, 14-year-old girls, looking
crazy.
on the younger side of that, it was alarming. It was, and it wasn't just one bar. This is it's an issue. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they still have child laborers in England, so like they're still mining towns.
There's still mining towns over there, so that's why
8 or 9 years old, you got to provide for your family.
Yeah, and a couple cocktails after the mines. Reports out that they're preparing to get rid of problematic people. Yeah, they are. He copied and pasted the Kobe apology. He modified it. It's very close to the Kobe apology. It could have just been, a similar situation, and I don't know. I have no idea if he purposely did it or not. When I was at the last Mania in New Orleans, I saw a bunch of groups of teens walking on Bourbon Street. Yeah, dude, it's gonna happen. Listen, I don't know, Rich, would you go to bars? I started going to bars, like the local bars, when I was like 15 years old.
I'm gonna say probably 17, 18, but I definitely drank in bars before I was 21, especially because I was in a band. And that shit was awesome. I feel like the first show we ever did, I may have been like 18 or 19, and I got so loaded, it was the best. I was like, yo, if this is what it's gonna be like every time we do a show, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Austin Theory is also being investigated. They're investigating for talking to a 13-year-old. Oh, God, man. I say this every time. I hope, and this is terrible to say, I hope none of this is true, because it's just so disgusting.
Right.
Like, come on.
You don't want any of it to be true.
Yuck.
We did not talk about Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is quarantined with Renee Young because she has been exposed to COVID.
He's quarantined separately. They're in separate rooms.
I thought they were
isolating.
quarantined together. Okay.
Well, I think they're like in the same house, but they're like totally separate because he tested negative.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't test positive.
He's gonna cough right in Brian Cage's mouth next week.
Do you think Vince? Listen, I'm gonna throw this out there. Can you just imagine Vince like sitting down with their top talents, like, listen, guys, Renee has coronavirus. She's gonna cough in all your faces. You guys are gonna get it, and you're never gonna get it again. Will you do it? How many of these guys are gonna be like, okay? To purpose,
well,
it's like a chicken pox party. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you right now, that's going to be the next thing. You're going to have these like bizarro coronavirus parties. I'm calling it right now on the very end of the show. They're going to start seeing this where people are going to purposely want to get infected so they don't have to deal with this later.
But they're going to get it again.
No,
like you can get multiple infections. No, you can get it twice.
I haven't seen any. I've been told that you can't, but who knows? You don't know. We don't know. We have no freaking idea. Listen, we may all mutate into, the Fly. Who did the Fly?
Fish people. Jeff Goldblum Fly?
No. Who did the actual monster? Who made it?
I'm not sure.
I
want to say Stan Winston.
No, you know this. It's like and they call it Always Sun. Oh,
Rick Baker?
Geez. No, God, who made the monster in The Fly?
It's either Rick Baker or might be Rick Baker. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up.
They did a Rick and Morty episode where they like all turned into blobs and they called it this. I forgot what it is. Somebody will know. All right. Any other questions before we wrap it up?
Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace did the monster.
No, it wasn't Chris Wallace.
I'm looking at it right now. Or are you thinking of the Brundlefly?
No, list of Rick and Morty episodes. It was the name of one of the episodes. Hold on. Hold on. This is gonna drive me nuts. I have to now do this. It was when they all they ruined the planet, right?
Sure.
They ruined the planet, and then they all turn into these blobs. I don't know, man.
I think you made this up.
So,
no calls today, huh?
Well, no calls, but I just was messaged by somebody in Florida. Word is that it might have been a self-harm attempt.
For Dream.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Listen.
Terrible.
Counseling, baby.
Right, terrible.
Sammy Therapy Guevara, works wonders.
You want to talk about Sammy really quickly? What happened with him? And then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, that he issued an apology and he's going to sensitivity training?
Sammy went on a podcast in 2016. I think it was called The Whole Effin' Show or something like that. I've seen it on YouTube. I've stumbled across the content.
I think we talked about this last week.
No. This happened this week. I don't think we did. We didn't talk about Sammy. And
I'm pretty sure we did.
Did we? I don't think so.
Yeah. We did the show late last week. I'm pretty sure we did.
Sammy Guevara and the Sasha Banks comment?
Yes.
I don't remember talking about it.
We definitely talked about this. But we'll talk about it again if you want.
Let's do it quickly. So he made a stupid comment. He made a comment that like alluding that she's so hot he would rape her. First of all, it's a ridiculous comment, right? This came out from 4 years ago. He issued an apology, spoke to Sasha. I think we did talk about it. You're right. We did talk about it. It happened on Monday. MG Geek says it happened on Monday. So we did not, I guess. That's so weird. Now I have this false memory.
The apology happened on Monday.
The apology happened on Monday. So,
but we covered the thing. We didn't cover the apology.
All my days are mixed up. But either way, he's suspended now from AEW. He's going into sensitivity training and counseling. Whatever, fine. They're donating his salary to the Jacksonville shelter for women, I believe.
How pissed do you think Jericho is right now?
Really pissed. Really, I think all of AEW is very pissed off because they've prided themselves into being this all-inclusive product, and that kind of goes against the narrative here. Just listen, people make mistakes. He was a dumb 22-year-old kid. I don't believe in punishing someone for a stupid mistake like that, but hopefully he learned his lesson and he doesn't do it again. That's when you punish him, if you keep making the same mistake like this. We spoke about Jim Cornette. Is Jim Cornette's wife hooking up with Velveteen? I've never heard of that.
Oof.
But that's a bizarre situation also. I think that's it. Anything else, Rich? You want to go anywhere with this?
I think we're good, I guess. I mean, like, I don't have anything to add to this conversation. It sucks. Everything sucks right now. The world sucks. We don't suck, but that's cool. I appreciate the fan support that we've gotten this week, which is very nice and out of nowhere.
Wait a minute, there it is. I was waiting for that all day. You didn't send it to me. Rich sends me something. I'm not going to say what it is, but every time we do the show and the show gets depressing, he sends me something, and it's just like, can it get any worse? Kayla Braxton got COVID twice. Kayla Braxton is wrong. She did not get COVID twice. She tested positive. How did you say she's wrong? I spoke to a doctor.
You're a false positive.
I am. I wish I had a positive. You know how many times I've gotten tested already?
How does this all make you feel? Because you would always say that you're not generally a positive person and you're real sad all the time. Is this making it worse, or do you feel okay?
I'm thriving. Never been better.
Yeah, like you're just kind of like surviving on sadness right now.
Everybody's on my level now. Everybody's on my level. I'm just.
Does that make you?
Yeah, go.
Does that make you feel like the king of the lost?
Yeah, I've been prepared for this for years. Now, I'm the happiest person on the planet. I've been preparing. I've Andrew, taking the antibody
one last question.
Lewis, yes, I did. I took the antibody test. My whole family took it. I've tested negative for everything. Unfortunately, I kind of was hoping that I had it. Anything else, and that's it.
I think we're good.
Okay, we're good, guys.
It was a lot of fun today. You dabbed. We talked about some sad stuff,
and I dabbed. Sad stuff and dabbing. We're going to be back next week. I believe maybe Thursday. If you want to do Thursday, it depends. Listen, if some breaking news happens, obviously Rich and I will do it remotely like this. It's very easy for us. We just pop on and do it. It works wonderfully, actually. I kind of like having him in the studio. Now that I got this air conditioning in, you're never going to be back.
Maybe I'll be there next week.
Maybe. Let's do it. All right, guys.
When are we going to do the hot tub show?
Oh, yeah. We should do that. You want to do that?
I do, but also my wife brought up a very good point. She was like, what are this? I was like, do you mind if this is how the conversation went down. Yeah. I said, would you be okay with me doing a show with Andrew, just both of us in a hot tub together in our undies or naked? And she was like, yeah, that's fine. And then I was like, and then 2 minutes later, she was like, you know what? As long as nothing falls into the tub to electrocute you guys, I'm happy with it.
Okay, good. All right, yeah, so we're going to do that. Rich and I are going to do, I'm telling you right now, we're going to do a show from the hot tub. We're going to do it. It's going to happen sometime soon. We got to figure out the angle here, how we're going to do this. So we're going to do it for you guys. I know you guys are clamoring to have a hot tub version of Tub Men. It's going to happen.
It's going to be so much fun.
Do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. Tremendous help when you do. It elevates us. It helps us gain more viewers. Also, subscribe anywhere podcasts are available. Also, leave a review. If you're on iTunes, you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a review other places. Make sure you subscribe to the audio version, the video version. We're everywhere podcasts are available. Follow me on Twitter at Andrew Zan. You can follow Rich at BTC Rich. Mattman Podcast on Twitter. Mattman Podcast on Instagram. Mattman Podcast on Facebook. Everywhere. From myself and, of course, the boy wonder, Rich Stambolian. I bid you
I'm a good boy.
A goodbye.